of the most common questions I always get is, how does it work when you're self-employed or a 1099er? How's it going? My name is Eric. I run a company called The Cash Flow Doctor. We do accounting and tax for the last 15 years for small business owners just like you. So there's a question that came up on Reddit. I reported $15,000 in income that I never got 1099s for, and I feel dumb. Don't worry. This is not a dumb question. It comes up quite a bit. This Redditor continues to say, I was doing my taxes late, and just as I was about to finish and get a state and federal refund, I realized I had $15,000 in income that I never got 1099s for. It was from 4 different small freelance jobs from different clients. None of them were over 10,000, basically 9K, 3K, and 2 for 1K. I'm actually really surprised that none of these companies issued 1099s. They're all VC-backed startups, and they all either employ accounting or have full-time finance people. I checked the IRS website, and there aren't any information returns from those clients as well. That said, I also got 2 1099s that are not on the IRS site either. Anyway, I just want someone to tell me that I did the right thing, LLL. So let's just kind of clarify, right? When you work as a contractor and not an employee, typically the company or the boss that you are working for are going to pay you as a sole proprietor or a contractor, and at the end of the year issue you a 1099 miscellaneous. Now, regardless if you received a 1099 or not, that income still is required to be reported on your income tax return. Now, where does this go? The Schedule C of your return is for self-employment. That income is also subject to self-employment tax, but you could also deduct your operating expenses from that. Things like home office, cell phone, car and truck expense, all these different things. So in this particular situation, this person stated that they did not get 1099s for 2 pieces of income. And sometimes I hear clients and friends come to me saying, hey, if it wasn't given to me on 1099, does the IRS know about it? And I want to err on the side of caution, right? With this. The reason that sometimes employers don't send the 1099 out is either they might not have your current address, or maybe it got lost in the mail, or maybe they're sending it out late. I've seen a number of companies in the past do their 1099s. Now, typically, 1099 miscellaneouses are due on the end of January. Typically, the first week of February is when they're required to send them out. But there's no real penalty or requirement that actually is levied on small business owners or businesses for mailing out their 1099s late. Now, the question is, if I didn't get a 1099, should I put that on my tax return, that income? The answer is yes. I highly recommend it. Why is that? Let's say, for example, that employer or that company decides to send the 1099s out late, which I've seen over the summertime, or even the following year, because maybe they got audited or their financials were in a wreck and they finally got cleaned up. Well, if you didn't file your return with that 1099 income, what's going to happen is the IRS is going to look in their system and say, hey, wait a second, we got a, let's say, $10,000 1099 from this company that paid you. It wasn't on your return. You'll get what we call a CP22, basically an IRS letter that says, hey, you missed on this income on your return, and typically charge pretty substantial interest and penalties. So you're always going to want to file that on your return. The second thing is, what if the IRS does not have it on their records? So every taxpayer can go to the IRS website and pull your IRS transcript. And the transcript that this person's referring to is called a wage and income transcript. You pull it anytime you want to. Now, the challenge with it is a lot of these informational returns and these transcripts aren't updated in real time, where it's quite possible that either it was submitted to the IRS or maybe it wasn't submitted to the IRS and it's just not in the IRS's system right now. But that does not mean that it might show up later. So too long didn't read. TLDR, basically, if you reported $15,000 of income that you didn't get 1099s for and feel dumb, don't feel dumb. This is a common thing that's happening, and that happens, and I've seen it, in the last 15 years of doing taxes for small business owners and folks who are contractors. I've seen this happen way too often, where either they omit or they forget to claim some of that 1099 income, and then a year or two later they get an IRS letter stating that, hey, you've forgotten about this contractor, this contract 1099 income, and they're levied with substantial interest and penalties. So highly would avoid that. Not recommend it, avoid it. So again, I love going through Reddit to answer tax questions, just because a lot of you might be having some of these same questions as well. So if there is a Reddit tax question or a tax question that you are burning to have answered, feel free to put it in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Again, my name is Eric, the Cash Flow Doctor. Make sure to click the subscribe button, hit a like if you enjoy this content, share this to a friend. Hopefully this might save your friend or yourself a ton of taxes. And with that said, have a great day. Take care.